Hello everyone! Our mission is to solve a liquidity fragmentation problem between different blockchains and DeFi protocols. The market is growing rapidly, starting a race and with new players emerging regularly. Each ecosystem develops its own blockchain and its blockchain protocols, but every blockchain has its own drawbacks and therefore their protocols do have these drawbacks as well. Such drawbacks include very high transaction costs, centralization, low liquidity, and a relatively small user base. And in the end, users are the ones who have to face this problem and cope with complexity. So they have to have different wallets, they have to buy different tokens to pay for transactions, which is really a far cry from the ideal situation. As this issue is quite evident, there are a lot of teams around the world working on solving it, and we have closely studied their solutions. But most of teams are basically focusing on creating a solution on just a transport layer. Often, the assets being moved are not integrated into blockchain or a DeFi system, which causes a lot of trouble to developers and the users, as it requires interaction with a lot of different protocols for the final user and developers. We take a broader view on this challenge because people move their assets between blockchains for some very specific purposes. For example, to make an exchange, to farm, or to borrow. So, what they really want is to cut on transaction costs when moving assets between different blockchains. In other words, a complex application-level solution is needed. It is necessary to have an instant cross-chain liquidity protocol for farming and exchange, and to save users from all the unnecessary information. So, we did it. So, we are super excited to present you Simplifi, a world-class secure and reliable cross-chain liquidity protocol created by DGU Lab. We've built a fully decentralized cross-chain DEX protocol based on chain-link adapters as a bridge with automated liquidity and price feeds, currently running on Ethereum and BSC. Let's take a look at our prototype. The current solution is based on field-tested PancakeSwap AMM with some improvements. It allows to add liquidity to cross-chain pools and make cross-chain swaps via synthetic tokens. I will explain it later. Let's dive into it. As you can see, we use two wallets simultaneously on different networks, and we are going to add liquidity to our cross-chain pools. For demonstration, we will use Alpaca BNB pool. So here the magic starts. As you can see, we have ALP 300 tokens on the Rinkibai network and BNB on the BSC network. To add liquidity, we need to synthesize ALP tokens on BSC network by sending them to Vault contract and sending the message through the bridge to mint the pegged ALP tokens on BSC. As we wait for the transaction to be confirmed, let me explain how our bridge works. We use chain-link adapters to process job requests. Here we can see the transaction was minted and we paid one link, and now we will wait for a bridge transaction. As soon as the bridge transaction arrives, we will add BNB and pegged tokens to the pool and get our LP tokens. Here is the confirmation on the BSC network, and now we only need to sign the transaction and wait for a block to be mined. Now let's double check the number of tokens that we've provided as liquidity. So here it is. Here is our pool filled with liquidity, so let's start the main part, the cross-chain swap. Let's swap the same 0.01 BNB and ALP tokens on the Rinkibai network. We now swap BNB for pegged ALP300 tokens via the pool we've just created. Now let's check the transaction. Here we can see that we just swapped 0.01 BNB for pegged tokens. And now we only need to confirm the transaction that will unsynthesize the original asset on the Rinkybuy network. And while we wait for confirmation, I would like to tell you about the future improvements to our solution. First of all, we will introduce gasless transactions because we want to allow our users to move their liquidity easily between blockchains without having to hold all the original assets required to pay the gas fee. Secondly, we want to move beyond Pancake UX and introduce some features unique to cross-chain. For example, we can remove liquidity in one chain or two, allowing the user not to pay high gas fees. Okay, there you saw our transaction. Now we just double-checked the amount once again, and here we have an original asset. This is how users will get instant non-custodial liquidity between multiple cross-chains with no need to trust a third party. Thank you for your attention.